Good afternoon. Today is the 15th of June and it's time for a 6-year and 27,000 mile ownership report on this 2017 Mercedes-Benz C200 Estate Sport Premium 9G Tronic, which is an awful mouthful. This is actually my mother's car, although technically it's now mine because of health reasons. She's had to go into a care home and the ownership transfer has been done into my name. Because I've inherited this car, I didn't have a huge amount of choice into actually choosing it. My mother's owned it from new, and it was back in the days when, you know, PCP finance was the way to go on cars and you could get massive discounts on these. This car was about £35,000 list. My mother paid £27,500 for it. It's now worth maybe, I don't know, £18,000-19,000 on a good day. I'm actually on a stretch of abandoned road. This is the former A333, just near Winchester in Hampshire, known as Five Bridges Road, which was actually abandoned in 1995 when they built the M3 through here. It used to be kind of the main road to what was called the Hockley Lights, which was the worst junction in the south of England. But now it's nice and quiet. It's abandoned, and although it's double lines down here, I won't be very long, so that's why I'm here. So this is actually a very nice car. It's got the 2-litre 181 brake horsepower engine coupled to a 9-speed automatic gearbox. The Sport Estate version is probably, I'd say, my favourite one in this range. Now the boot's actually not that big. Before you say anything, Mr. Richardson from the Furious Driving channel does have one of these. He bought it about a year ago, but he actually drove this on his channel in May 2020, this actual car, and I think probably that had some influence on him eventually buying one of these. I don't know for certain, but I think it probably did. One thing I don't like about this car, and it's the same with lots of modern cars, I've got my merchandise box and a boot and my chair for when I go to events and things, is there is no spare wheel in here. There isn't. There's an inflator pump and a can of sealant, but if the tyre's really busted, and it was actually in 2021 once, one of the rear tyres had actually cracked and perished and had gone flat, that pump won't save you. It won't, because I tried it, it didn't work, so just be aware of that. We did get the full cleaning kit of this car, which my mother shouldn't really have got, and we've got this little mat. I don't know why we've got that, but there it goes, it's a genuine Mercedes-Benz one. The boot's around 430 litres, I think. It's not massive for a car like this, actually. It does have an electric tailgate. As you can see, you can lock the car with that. I'm not going to do that because I'm a bit concerned about the keys. But it works perfectly well. One thing I would say, the car's got a reversing camera and it's got parking sensors, but the parking sensors only come on when you're literally about to hit something. They don't give you a lot of warning at all, which is really annoying in a car like this. It's actually quite large, and the rear visibility without the camera isn't the best. It has got some minor scuffs on it. Actually, none of the change. None of those are mine. That was from my mother's ownership of the car. Although over 27,000 miles, it's covered in 6 years. Mostly that's been done by me. Even before my mother got quite ill, she used to leave most of the driving to me. We'll get in the back and we'll see actually how this car is surprisingly not that practical. So we're just going to move this squirrel cushion out of the way. There we go, move those out of the way. And we'll get in here. Now we've got a little door bin. It's quite big. You can hold a very big bottle of water in that. This is not real leather. It's what Mercedes call Artico leather, which is sort of like a vinyl. My mother would have wanted to make maybe a beige leather interior, but this sort of cream coloured one is about as good as it gets, really. Let's put those in there. You can see here that this is my driving position, and I'm about 5'11". These are some of the ownership documents, and the full manual doesn't actually fit in the glove box. We've taken some of the bits out of it because if you put it in here, you'd have even less room. If it will actually Get back in there, come on. Can't do this with one hand now, just put back there. But you can see what it's like without it. I mean, they're not bad sort of pockets themselves, but it does restrict the legroom. I don't know why this would be the best family car, because I have had a child sit in the back of here with my nephew, and it's got ISOFIX points and things like that, but there's just not a lot of room to fit a child seat in here. It's just not great. What is good though is these sort of double sunroof bits. Only the front one opens, and only a very small amount. It doesn't open very much at all, but it does have 2 blinds, and actually the back seat can be very comfortable. I mean, you've got this, my jacket's been to the cleaners, but you can see here we've got some cup holders, if they can come up. There we go. And also we've got space to store things like, I don't know, pens or whatever, and they do feel quite nice. They go in nicely. Mind you, this is a £35,000 car when it was new, and you know the new C-Class is what, excess of 40 grand for a car like this, so you'd expect that, wouldn't you, really? Got the vents in here, which are quite nice, as Matt Watson from Car One pointed out back the other day. Looks like a robot face, which it kind of does. One thing I would have wanted my mother to specify was she got this car with some floor mats, which we weren't offered at all, probably because we got such a big discount on the car, but we weren't offered those, so they aren't here. We've got some ones in the front, like some big sort of high heavy duty rubber ones, but we haven't got anything at the back, which is annoying. But yes, let's go to the front, shall we? So this has got one of the older style Mercedes-Benz infotainment systems in it. It's called the Command System, with 1M, which is annoying. If we switch it on using this start button, you can actually take this out if you've got a flat battery in your key fob, and you can, it's quite difficult to do with this hand, but you can put it in like that. Come on, there we go. So you can pull it out and put the key in normally. You can see the end of the key is still available for that if that's what you want to do. Just pause a second whilst I shut the door. Okay, well the car's saying hello to me. The lights just flashed up on the little animated car on the dash, and you can see the refresh rate of the screen there as well. So if we look at here, we can see there's the mileage. I've just had this car serviced actually, which cost over £1,000. It was at the Mercedes-Benz in Southampton, which is called MBS. There's a little sticker there for autofocus will work properly. No, not today. Okay, MBS Southampton. They are fine. The labour rate is actually really good for a specialist, but it's the cost of the parts in this car, which is the biggest problem. But we'll go through here if we can. Actually, I need to turn this on, don't I? There we go. So we're in economy mode. There is a little rotary selector here. Sort of toggles through the modes. I like economy mode. It's got a 9-speed automatic gearbox, so excuse me, sorry, that was annoying, wasn't it, BS? Do apologise. You better turn that off in case we get copyright infringement and have that pause. That's a bit better. So I've driven about 15 miles today with an average of 31 miles per gallon, but the long-term MPG will show significantly more. It used to be about 40 actually, that before it was reset at the service. So I've not done too many miles since the service, but yeah, it cost over £1,000 because most of that was a £440 gearbox service. And the reason why the gearbox service is expensive is actually the sump of the gearbox has to come off and get replaced during the service. It's made of plastic, so the sump and the filter are one thing, and it costs, I think it's £150 for a new sump and filter, and the gearbox fluid itself is something like £75. So if you want to use genuine Mercedes-Benz parts on this car, you can, but it's expensive. The full oil change as well, I think the oil cost, gosh, £75. Just the oil, the recommended oil, which is ridiculous. But there we go. You can see there, you know, the range, the engine on it would actually do that a bit more. If actually we can just turn it on. The gear lever is actually here, which is actually strange when you think about it initially, but when you get used to it, you realise that because this car's got automatic wipers and it's got automatic lights, you don't really need to touch those too much. And so why not put the gear lever here and free up this space in the middle for this rotary selector and things like that, and the 12-volt socket and everything like that. You also got in here some other things. SD card can go in there. These are the two USB ports. The glove box is surprisingly small in this car. You can't fit the manual in it. You can fit other stuff, but not in the manual, which is why it's in the back seat there. You can fit lots of things in these door pockets. I mean, you've got the door again. There we go. Phones, bottles. There's a thing for opening the electric boot. Multi-stage heated seats, electric memory seats. You can get really fine adjustment to, and the seats are really comfortable. But considering this is a premium car, you'd expect it to have lumbar support, but it doesn't. You don't get lumbar support, which is annoying. So back to these things you can just see here. There's the eco display. That's my MVG going down because I'm running the engine, and I think I'll just probably turn that off. There we go. So, but the fuel, the stop start isn't working right at the second. It does actually work, and this car's actually got a thing called gliding mode, which if you're going down a hill or something, will decouple the gearbox from the engine, and you don't use any fuel at all. You just sort of glide along, which is quite nice actually. So if we do this without starting the engine, so this we can not have to spend loads of money on petrol. We can have a look at the sat nav system and things on here. It is muted. That's good. These buttons are, well, they look nice, but they tend to be really quite sort of fiddly. If you're not used to where they are, they're all sort of the same. And you can see we've got piano black, which reflects fingerprints and can get dirty. These buttons don't feel very good for a car that cost all this money. We have got a CD player in here. There's the telephone button. That is the car settings, and the hazards warning, which is just down there. You can open and close this compartment there, and yes, auto stop start is there. That's the parking sensors. That's the back button there, which you can't see actually at all if you're sitting in the driver's seat. That is for binding something to a special key there. Volume control, and that's for turning off the infotainment system just there. Yeah, the sunroof controls are sort of up here, and you can fit your sunglasses in here, as I have done with my pair there. You can open and close it a little bit under blind. You can fully retract if you want to. We'll have a look at the infotainment system. I'll just show you some of the things on it. You can either sort of write things in there, supposedly like a little mouse, if you want to put sat nav directions and things like that, but I never do that. I just use the normal sort of thing. So we need to go to nav. This is not a touchscreen, by the way, and it looks ridiculously small these days. Technology's moved on an awful lot in the past sort of 6 years, so I agree. So you push that button in, and we can have a look at the map. We'll just do that quickly, see where we are. And I don't tend to use this because it's out of date now. Massively out of date, so that's where we are, just off St Cross Road to South Winchester, just literally River Itchen is just almost where we are. So it's a nice place to sort of come and do a video like this. Then we can go to, well, radio I won't go on to, media, it's paused, so you get the idea about, pause it again. Sorry, Brian McCleary. Enjoying that, but we can't have copyright infringement on this channel, which is very annoying. If you go to the vehicles, I think it's this one. There we go. We can actually look and see we've got the dynamic select. You can do it on the switch down here, or you could do it on here. But we can put the engine in various things. The fan, I think I've got that. Have I got that in economy mode? Yes, I have, which is good. And then there's a back button here. We can go back. Steering. Which is this one. There's only two settings. I have it in sport. Sport is still too light. It's far too light. Comfort is even lighter, in my opinion. And then stop start on or off. And the engine is just the various modes. Now, yeah, you want this into the eco. You can go sort of through them. Can you? I think you've got to use this selector, haven't you, viewers? Although we've got to turn the engine on. I've got to turn the engine on, haven't I? Right, let's do that again. Sorry. Right, okay. Right, see if that actually makes a difference if we... Oh, there we go, perfect. So we're in eco. You can have comfort, sport plus, which is ridiculous. Like that will have you in 4th gear at 70 miles an hour, or individual. The car has only got 180 horsepower, so it's not the fastest, but it still does 0 to 60. It's only like 8.2 seconds, it's something like that. So it's actually quite nippy. You don't feel you're ever wanting for power, which is why I drive in the eco mode most of the time, in which case you get up to 50 miles per gallon on some motorway trips in the summer, which I have done. Right, the last thing we'll do then is take a look at the front end of the car, and we will have a look at the engine. I've not actually replaced the tyres at the front of the car at all. They're still on the original Continental 17-inch ones, and those are the wheels. I like the wheels on this actually. Front parking sensors, no fog lights, which is really strange, but you don't get them. You do have full LED lights and, you know, folding mirrors and all that sort of stuff. Right, I'll open the bonnet. Unfortunately, everything's really under plastic covers and you can't see an awful lot. I think this car's actually got on a, it's maybe got an electronic dipstick actually. I think that one at the back might be for the auto gearbox. I'm not entirely sure, but there are things on here as well for connecting up to sort of jump start it. There's a positive terminal there because the battery is, I think, under the rear seats or something like that. But yeah, 2-litre engine, developing about 181 horsepower. You can get other engines as well. There was a C180 in the range as well with less power, but I've never seen a C180 estate actually for the what's called the S205 model, which is this particular generation of Mercedes-Benz. The range as a whole is called the W205, but the specific estate one is called the S205. Yeah, it's not really the most suitable car for home maintenance, I wouldn't say. It's all cramped in sort of there, you can't really see an awful lot, and we just have it done by the specialist because that's what my mother always wanted, and that's what we're still doing, and we will continue to do that. So when we kind of sell this car, if we come to sell it, at the moment my mother doesn't want to sell it, and you know, I just use it as an everyday car a lot of the time, then we'll just continue to run it. Not that it's the most interesting thing. I mean, you don't see an awful lot of it on the channel because, well, there's not an awful lot to say. You know, we have the sort of annual report like this, and there's nothing that's gone wrong. The only thing we've had done is the automatic gearbox service, annual service and MOT, 2 new rear tyres, and we had a recall where the SOS switch in the car was replaced, I think in 2021, and that's it. You'd expect that from a car that's on really low mileage, but yeah, these are such expensive cars to service. I dread to think what would have happened if it had to go to the main dealer for the service rather than be independent. Although you can fit non-genuine parts, but because this car is such low mileage, it's in such good condition, we've chosen to keep going with the genuine Mercedes parts, and the servicing being done in the genuine Mercedes way. There is an electronic logbook for this car in terms of the servicing on the star system, but we have the printouts just in case, because that's the sort of person I am. Thank you so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more not particularly interesting ownership updates.